Welcome back, brothers and sisters, to our Desire of Ages series. So in our last episode, we saw that how John, through the aid of the Holy Spirit, was able to detect Satan's approaches and resist his power. But that was also because of the studying he did with regards to God's scriptures. He was not spent in idleness, but in fact he was it was his lifelong consecration to understand man as well as the coming of Jesus Christ, which we now see in our next bit. So John found in the wilderness his school and his sanctuary. Like Moses amid the mountains of Midian, he was shut in by God's presence and surrounded by the evidence of his power. It was not his lot to dwell, as did Israel's great leader, amid the solemn majesty of the mountain solitudes, but before him were the heights of Moab, beyond Jordan, speaking of him who had set fast the mountains and girded them with strength. The gloomy and terrible aspect of nature in his wilderness home vividly pictured the condition of Israel. The fruitful vineyard of the Lord had become a desolate waste, but above the desert the heavens bent bright and beautiful. The clouds that gathered dark with tempest were arched by a rainbow of promise. So above Israel's degradation shone the promised glory of the Messiah's reign. The clouds of wrath were spanned by the rainbow of his covenant mercy. Alone in the silent night, he read God's promise to Abraham of a seed numberless as the stars. The light of dawn gliding the mountain of Moab told of him who should be as the light of the morning when the sun riseth, even a morning without clouds. 2 Samuel 23:4. And in the brightness of noontide he saw the splendor of his manifestation, of God's manifestation, when the glory of the Lord shall be revealed and all flesh shall see it together. That's Isaiah 45. So what we see here is, his home in the wilderness was not similar to Moses, right, where he was in the presence of God. But what is being shown to John here is the desolate and this terrible scene of Jerusalem, of the people of Israel, how they have degraded God's law, how they have come away from the presence of God. But in all of that, brothers and sisters, from reading Samuel and reading Isaiah, he sees the coming of Jesus Christ. He sees that there is a promised Messiah to come. He sees that the glory of the Lord shall be revealed and all the flesh shall see it together. Right, and that's what had happened in Jesus' first coming. They all saw Jesus, but only a few knew who he was.